Hey guys, it's your coach Katelyn, and I have a topic today that sort of came up when I was talking to a friend recently, and it has to do with when we confuse our gut instinct or intuition with other things like fears or impulses and how to tell the difference. So, in this particular situation, a friend of mine had called me to ask my opinion on whether or not she should go on a date with a guy that I'm pretty sure she already knew was not a good match for her, not really a good situation. But she was calling because she felt like her gut instinct was telling her to go. And I said, "No, absolutely not. Your gut, it was creating a hesitation and creating resistance and knew something was a little off. And your gut was what told you to call me." And if it was really the right thing and your gut was saying to go, this is a good thing, you wouldn't have needed to call me. And I think, she realized the truth in it, which, when I had said that to her, it wasn't even something that I had acknowledged for myself previously and that confusion that sometimes occurred. But after this conversation took place, I really started thinking about how important it is that when we get a gut instinct or an intuitive feeling, that we're really checking ourselves and making sure that it is in fact a gut instinct or intuition talking and not other things like our fear voice or an impulse. So I've been thinking about it a little more. And part of the reason I knew to say that to her was because I've been there and I've definitely, been on dates or dragged out relationships that should have ended long before they did. And I was doing kind of what I knew I shouldn't do, but what I wanted to do at the time. And it can be confusing. So in this case, I think what she was experiencing and what I had experienced in the past was more of instead of being our gut intuition telling her to go, it was more of an impulse of what she wanted in the moment, but her gut knew that wasn't good for her. And I've been there as well. And sometimes I listen to my gut and sometimes I listen to the impulse. But the other thing that comes into play is a fear voice that there won't be another opportunity to check this out and to see if what this person's all about, or to see, if this could be a relationship and that sort of thing. So I think there's also that fear of missing out that comes into play. And I think oftentimes that fear voice is loud, the impulse is loud, and sometimes we think that it's our gut and our intuition talking, but if we don't stop to really think about it, we sometimes might completely overlook that our gut is actually telling us, no, that's not what's best for you. So this applies with anything. It could apply to the cupcakes on the counter in your work break room. And you might think your gut is telling you, oh, you deserve a break, take it to, relax, be good to yourself, have this little treat. But in reality, that's probably more of a fear that when you come back later, all the cupcakes will be gone. And it's probably just an impulse of what you want now. Whereas if you really stop and take a time out, you'd probably realize that your gut is telling you, do what's healthy for you, show your body some love, it's maybe pass on the cupcake and have a piece of fruit instead, or, something to that effect. I've seen this happen with people trying to decide whether or not to leave a job that they're miserable at. I think oftentimes we think our gut is telling us to stay, when in actuality, those are just our fears that taking another opportunity or leaving won't actually work out to our benefit, or the fear of regret. And so I think even in that case, you have to go really deep into your heart and soul and see what you feel. And then remind yourself that all the logistics can be worked out. So I think, all of those other voices, the fear voice, I have another video where I talk about how to get rid of that sneaky fear voice. And I think it's important to look at what's just an impulse, what's our fear voice, and then go deeper and see what our intuition is really telling us. So don't be afraid of missing out on opportunities. There will always be other opportunities. You know, when you have an impulse, think about what's really best for you. Rather than think about it, maybe just go into your heart and see what you feel. And, you know, I kind of stop for a minute and really see, you know, what our intuition is really telling us. So I'm not saying that in all these examples I mentioned that that's going to be the case for all scenarios, but I'm just pointing out that it's very, very easy to get confused with between our intuition and then those fear voices or those impulses. And it's just important to, you know, take a moment and to really step back from the situation and just listen to what our gut is really saying, what our intuition is really saying, what we feel deep down is best for us, and then make a decision instead of just immediately acting on whatever we think might be our gut or our intuition. Because a lot of times that tricky fear voice, it can lie to us, it can trick us into thinking, you know, things are not what they may seem, and oftentimes it can even trick us into thinking it's our intuition when it's not. So that is my message for you today, and I hope this is beneficial. And if you have experiences that this applies to, please feel free to post in the comments below. Thanks for watching.